Welcome to another deep dive into the world of electric vehicles. And today we're focusing on the Tesla Model Y Juniper, a brand new electric SUV that will be debuting in China. Now, this SUV has a really unique design that's inspired by cybercabs. So think sleek, futuristic, sharp angles. It's a really modern aesthetic that sets it apart from a lot of the other electric SUVs that are out there.
It's a bold statement from Tesla, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're going to be breaking down an article by John Alsald, who is a hybrid technology expert. The article is titled Introducing the 2025 Tesla Model Y Juniper, a cybercab-inspired debut in China, ecotechhybrid.
Oh, John Alsald. Yeah, I've read a few of his pieces. Always insightful.
Yeah, he really knows this stuff. And here's a really interesting fact from the article. So local brands in China, they actually make up about 70% of EV sales in the country, however. The Tesla Model Y is already a big player in that market.
Wow, that's impressive given the dominance of those local brands.
Right, and this new Juniper. It seems like it's poised to really shake things up even more.
I can see why. The Chinese market is really embracing electric vehicles. And Tesla is clearly targeting that growth with a model designed specifically for them.
Exactly, and the article really emphasizes that the unique design of the Juniper is one of its key selling points.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that cybercab-inspired look. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, what does that actually look like in real life?
Well, just imagine, you know, those sleek, futuristic vehicles you see in sci-fi movies.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture.
Yeah, and it's not just about the visual appeal. This design is also very functional.
Oh, I bet form and function, that's classic Tesla, right?
Right.
What are some of the design elements that contribute to that?
So the article actually mentions a bunch of specific aerodynamic elements, like the wheels, the tires, even active grille shutters.
Active grille shutters, what are those?
So basically, they're these little shutters on the front grille. And as you're driving down the highway, they automatically close to improve the car's aerodynamics. It's like, you know, those little wings that help planes slice through the air.
Oh, I see. So it's all about reducing drag and increasing efficiency.
Exactly. It's really innovative and helps to extend the car's range, which is another major selling point for the Juniper.
Yeah, speaking of range, I was reading that they're expecting over 300 miles on a single charge.
Yeah, over 300 miles.
That's impressive, even by today's standards.
Right. Think about it. You could drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas without needing to stop and charge.
No more range anxiety. That's a game changer for a lot of people.
It is. And that kind of segues perfectly into talking about market dominance.
Yeah, how does the Juniper fit into Tesla's overall strategy, especially considering they're going up against those really strong local Chinese brands?
Well, as we mentioned, the Tesla Model Y is already a global success story. But the Juniper is really aimed at solidifying Tesla's position in China, which is a crucial market for the future of electric vehicles.
It's a bold move, taking on those established Chinese brands on their home turf.
It is. But Tesla has always been a disruptor in the automotive industry, and they're not shying away from this challenge.
And they're bringing a lot to the table. Not just that unique design, but also, Tesla's reputation for cutting-edge technology.
Absolutely.
It'll be really interesting to see how Chinese consumers respond to the Juniper.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And, another big focus for Tesla is sustainability.
Right. They're always pushing the boundaries in that area.
Yeah, and this article actually goes really in depth about Tesla's commitment to green technology in the manufacturing of the Juniper.
What are some of the highlights in terms of their sustainability efforts?
So they're really focusing on using clean energy in their factories. They're also trying to minimize waste and water usage throughout the entire production process.
That's great. It sounds like they're taking a holistic approach to sustainability.
They are, and they're also using recycled materials in the car's construction.
That's fantastic. Every little bit helps when it comes to reducing our environmental impact.
It really does. It really does. And it aligns perfectly with Tesla's mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy.
It's clear they're not just focused on building great cars, they're also thinking about the bigger picture.
Exactly. So we've talked about the futuristic exterior, we've talked about performance, market strategy, and sustainability.
It's a pretty impressive package so far.
But what about the inside? What can drivers expect when they step into the Juniper?
Well, from what I've read, the Juniper is going to have a luxurious and technologically advanced interior.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Think premium materials like leather and wood trim, and a highly customizable infotainment system.
So they're not just focused on being green, they're also trying to create a really premium and personalized experience for the driver.
Exactly.
And what about safety? What kind of features can we expect in the Juniper?
Well, Tesla is known for prioritizing safety in their vehicles. And the article specifically mentions autopilot and emergency braking, which are both designed to enhance the safety of the driving experience.
That's reassuring.
It is. And of course, the article emphasizes that the Juniper meets all of the necessary electric vehicle safety standards.
So people can feel confident that it's just as safe as any other vehicle on the road.
Exactly.
So we've got this futuristic exterior, a luxurious interior packed with all the latest technology and top-notch safety features.
It sounds like Tesla is pulling out all the stops with the Juniper.
But how does all of this connect to the bigger picture? What are the global implications of launching this vehicle in China?
That's a great question. And it's something that the article really tries to address. They frame the Juniper's launch in China as a key part of Tesla's overall global strategy. They see the success of this model as directly linked to their future plans for innovation, sustainability, and creating those truly desirable cars that people want to drive.
So the Juniper isn't just a car. It's a statement about Tesla's vision for the future of the automotive industry.
Exactly.
It's a bold move that could have ripple effects throughout the global market.
It definitely raises some interesting questions. How will the Juniper's reception in China, particularly in such a competitive market, impact the future of electric SUVs and Tesla's position in the global market as a whole?
It's something we'll all have to wait and see. But it's definitely a development worth watching closely.
Absolutely.
So what stood out to you the most so far? What's piqued your interest?
For me, it's that cybercab-inspired design. It's so bold and different. I'm really curious to see how that translates to real-world appeal, especially in a market as diverse and dynamic as China.
Yeah, it's a striking departure from what we're used to seeing in the SUV market.
Yeah.
And it really speaks to Tesla's willingness to push the boundaries, not just in terms of technology, but also in design aesthetics. What about you? What's grabbed your attention?
Honestly, for me, it's that 300-mile range. As someone who loves road trips, the idea of being able to drive from LA to Vegas without having to stop and recharge is, well, it's pretty amazing.
I agree. That range is really a game changer for a lot of people. And it's not just about convenience. You know, it also plays a big role in the Juniper's overall sustainability. Yeah. Because the further you can drive on a single charge, the less often you need to plug in, which ultimately reduces your energy consumption. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's really a win-win for both the driver and the environment. And speaking of sustainability, the article went beyond just, mentioning the recycled materials. What were some of the other highlights that you noticed?
Well, they talked about a lot of things, actually. I mean, there's the obvious benefit of having an electric powertrain. You completely eliminate those harmful tailpipe emissions. But they also talked about regenerative braking, which is a really interesting technology.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd get into that. How does regenerative braking work?
So basically, it captures the energy that's generated when you hit the brakes, and then it uses that energy to recharge the battery.
Oh, okay.
So instead of that energy being wasted as heat, it's actually being recycled back into power for your car.
Wow, that's so cool. It's like getting a little energy boost every time you brake.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And it's just another way that Tesla is constantly innovating to try and make their vehicles more efficient and sustainable.
And it ties in nicely with their whole push for sustainability. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the competitive landscape. We know Tesla is obviously a major player globally, but what about specifically in China? The article mentioned that local brands are really dominating that market right now.
Yeah, that's true. Chinese brands like NIO and BYD, they've been making huge strides in the EV market, especially with their SUVs.
So what's Tesla's strategy for standing out? How are they going to compete in such a crowded and competitive market?
Well, the article suggests that Tesla is banking on a few key things. First, their brand recognition is incredibly strong. Even in China, people know Tesla. They associate it with innovation and high performance and, really cool technology.
Right.
Second, Tesla has a well-established global charging infrastructure, which is obviously super important for widespread EV adoption.
It is.
And finally, they're hoping that the Juniper's unique design and its impressive performance will really attract those Chinese consumers who are looking for something truly different and exciting.
It sounds like they're not afraid of a challenge.
Yeah.
Going head-to-head with these really well-established Chinese brands.
They're not. And I think it's ultimately going to benefit the consumers because this kind of competition just drives innovation and pushes everyone to create even better products.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of innovation, let's dive back into the technology inside the Juniper. The article hinted at some pretty impressive features.
Yeah, they did.
What can you tell us about that luxurious and tech-savvy interior that they mentioned?
It sounds like they're going all out to create that really premium experience for the driver. They talked about the advanced infotainment system, which likely includes a large touchscreen display, with all the bells and whistles, navigation, entertainment, climate control, all of that. And they specifically mentioned using premium materials like leather and wood trim. So it's not just about the tech, it's also about creating that luxurious and comfortable space.
Yeah, so it's sleek and modern, but also warm and inviting.
Exactly. And they also mentioned that there are going to be a range of customization options. So you'll be able to personalize the interior to your liking.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So whether you prefer a more minimalist aesthetic or something more bold and colorful, it sounds like there's going to be a Juniper out there for you.
I think you're right.
And of course, we can't forget about safety, which is always a top priority for Tesla. We briefly touched on autopilot and emergency braking, but what other safety features can we expect to see in the Juniper?
Well, based on Tesla's track record and
Right.
what the article highlighted, it's probably safe to say that the Juniper will come standard with a full suite of advanced safety features.
Okay.
We're talking lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, possibly even a 360-degree camera system.
Wow.
So you'll have a complete view of your surroundings.
So it's really like having a whole team of invisible guardians watching out for you when you're on the road.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a level of safety that's really reassuring, especially for people who might be a little hesitant about switching to electric vehicles.
It makes sense. Tesla wants to ensure that everyone feels completely safe and confident when they're behind the wheel of a Juniper.
Exactly.
Now, before we move on, I'm curious to hear what's been grabbing your attention so far. What stood out to you the most?
Honestly, it's the whole package that has really impressed me. The striking design, the impressive range, that commitment to sustainability, the luxurious interior, the advanced safety features. It feels like Tesla's really thought of everything with this new Juniper.
They have. It seems like they've really created the ultimate electric SUV.
Yeah.
And speaking of sustainability, the article also touches on some interesting details about the Juniper's production process.
Yeah, they went beyond just, mentioning the use of recycled materials. They really dove deep into Tesla's overall commitment to sustainable manufacturing.
They did. It's impressive.
What were some of the key takeaways there?
Well, they emphasized the use of clean energy sources in their factories, which
Yeah.
is a huge step towards reducing their carbon footprint.
Right.
They also talked about minimizing waste and water usage throughout the entire production process.
It's great that they're looking at the entire process, not just, individual components.
Exactly. It aligns with their goal of creating a more sustainable future for everyone.
It's really inspiring to see a company taking such a holistic approach to sustainability. It shows that you can produce these cutting-edge vehicles
Yeah.
while still being mindful of the planet.
Yeah, it sets a great example for the rest of the industry.
It really does.
Now, before we wrap up, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the long-term implications of the Juniper. How do you think this model will influence the future of electric SUVs and Tesla's role in the global market?
That's the big question, isn't it? It feels like we're at, a turning point. A major shift is happening in the automotive industry. And the Juniper could really be a catalyst for even greater change. I mean, if it's successful in China, it could really accelerate the adoption of electric vehicles worldwide.
I think you're right. Increased demand in China could lead to lower production costs, which could make electric vehicles more affordable and accessible for everyone.
Exactly.
And from a design standpoint, the Juniper's bold and futuristic aesthetic could inspire a whole new wave of electric SUVs, ones that break away from those more traditional conventions.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities. And then there's the sustainability aspect as well. The Juniper's commitment to eco-friendly manufacturing could set a new standard for the industry.
It could. It could encourage other automakers to really prioritize sustainability in their own operations.
Yeah, I think it's more than just a car. It's a statement. It's like a glimpse into a future where style, technology, and sustainability all come together.
It's a powerful message that Tesla is sending to the world.
It really is. Well, this has been a fascinating discussion. To our listeners, if you're intrigued by the Juniper and want to learn more, we highly recommend checking out the full article by John Elsalt.
Absolutely. We've only scratched the surface here.
We have. But for now, we're going to have to leave it there.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the Tesla Model Y Juniper.
We'll catch you next time for another exciting exploration of the latest trends and innovations in the world of electric vehicles.